Hey, Riding Side Saddle, it's Lisa.
And Tammy.
And we have a special guest, one that you know. It's
Mary.
Mary's back.
I'm back.
She's here. So if y'all remember Mary, she participated with us as part of book club.
Yeah.
I think it was it
Two books.
Was it 2 books worth or one book?
Yeah, you did 2 books,
The
didn't
first
you?
one was so long.
I know.
The first one was long. I read the second book, and then I couldn't.
Oh, and then you were
come.
sick.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
And we did a one-night recording, and it was
Yeah,
quick.
we had to get
in
her.
and out. Yeah.
Yes, we had to get her done.
Yeah.
So, but you were with us for that first book, which was a marathon.
Yeah, that was a marathon.
I think that was 3 or 4 episodes. Was
Yeah.
it
It was
more
a
than
few.
that? It was a lot.
It was,
it was a
a
lot.
good number. So y'all know Mary.
Yeah.
And we, well, Tammy and I haven't seen Mary in some time.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, probably since we were recording those episodes from book club.
Probably
Yeah.
April, and it's November now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a long
while.
time.
Yeah.
We've all missed one another.
Yeah.
Enormously. And we made space to be able to catch up today.
Yep.
Because Mary's an adventurer.
She is a wild woman.
She is.
You called her that before. She is.
Well, it is the damn truth. She is like the most tender, loving, wild woman I probably know.
That's so sweet.
Adventurous
Oh my
and
gosh.
courageous. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mary's the real deal. So,
They say these things, but I don't know if I believe them quite yet.
oh, I do. I do. So we chose to get together and catch up with Mary because she's been on some adventures, like physical adventures and spiritual and emotional adventures that really came along with it. And I said, we're probably not the only ones who miss you. Like,
Right.
like our people, right? Our Riding Side Saddle crew, they need to hear this. They need to hear what's happening with Mary in the last few months.
Yeah.
And it also is, what you're doing is so much about the things that we talk about. And you're putting them into practice.
Yes.
They're not just words.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That could not be more true. Mm-hmm. So welcome back to the recording studio.
I'm so glad to be back. This is a dream come true.
And you're very easy to please.
I don't need much. Oh my goodness.
Well, I did move the whole farm for Mary to
Yeah.
sit in the recording studio. So
I
there's
feel like we
that.
should play it at the end, like hit the cow button. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start.
Well, last time we met, you were just getting ready to go to Portugal.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was exciting and scary, I imagine, because you were going by yourself. And you
Yes.
don't speak Spanish.
I don't. I decided to.
Is it Spanish or Portuguese?
They
What do
speak Portuguese, but
Yeah.
they pull from Spanish.
Right,
So, like,
okay.
if you
The
hear them
base.
speak it,
Yeah.
you can
You
pick
could
it
pick
up
it
if
up.
you know
But you don't speak
Spanish.
either of
I
them.
don't speak.
So
No.
there was no picking
They
it up.
can confirm that I am not. What do they? I'm not. What is it? Oh my gosh, what is it called? Bilingual.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
you
Or
are
I was
not.
like, what is that word called? Yeah. No.
I don't even know the word.
Like, I don't even know the
But I'm not it.
That's how much I do not know multiple languages.
That confirms how much I
the
don't
English
know.
word for it.
Not multilingual.
No. Oh my goodness. So no, I went, and I've done that before where I'll travel to other countries and don't know the language, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
So this is not the first time that you have traveled abroad or
No.
traveled on your own. Like, this is kind of part of who you are to your core.
Yes.
This is part of your wild woman-esque.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so grateful because I found my own identity when I started to travel alone. And the first trip I ever took was to Southeast Asia, and I had just turned 20.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I had just turned 20 at the time. And I dropped out of college and I just decided to pack a backpack and I went to Southeast Asia.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was wild. And then through that experience, I was like, oh, I met my people. I found my spirit. Like, that's how I found my own identity, was in that trip.
Yeah. Wow.
And then from that, I decided to just, continue traveling.
Because it's just important to you.
Yeah.
It's part of the core of who you are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I value travel, and experiencing other cultures is very important to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, so I was having a rough year. We'll just say I had a pretty rough year, and I decided I need to get away. And so I decided to go to Portugal for a month by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It still leaves me speechless.
I know.
Like,
The fact that you just gave yourself permission to do that
Yeah.
is, I mean, I don't know if I could give myself permission to do, I don't know if I would give myself permission to do that.
so
I'm
when
just going to pause my life and
Yeah.
and go figure myself out for a little bit.
Yeah.
well, so let's frame that up a little bit, right? You had said that that last year had been really tough for you,
Yeah.
right? For a number of reasons, and we don't have to get all into that because these things are deeply personal. But like to say just that, like I need
I
something.
need
Yeah.
something. Right.
Yeah.
This isn't like, oh, this is a luxury, I'm just going to go away and travel.
Yes.
Like, this was a
Yeah.
core
Right.
soul need
Yes.
to be able to help you through some of the transition
Yeah.
and challenges that you were facing.
Yeah. And still to this day, there are some people that won't ever understand that. Like, I've found it hard to tell some of my friends, like, I'm leaving to go to Portugal for a month, I can't attend XYZ. And they couldn't understand it, which is totally fine because they're on their own journey.
Right.
But I love what you said. It was a need. And at the time, I don't know if I would say I even knew it was a need at the time, but I knew
But you did.
deep down. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I couldn't comprehend it, but I was like, I have to go in order to survive.
Right.
This trip was like that.
Wow.
Yeah, this trip was definitely like that. So.
But again, I'll say you gave yourself permission to do that rather than stuffing it down.
Yeah.
Or I can manage. Where's another Band-Aid?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, right?
I
Like,
can't, I wish,
yes. If I just do this, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I just couldn't
You
do it
weren't
anymore.
at a point of being okay.
Yeah, I wasn't.
In order
okay.
to get okay, I have to go do this.
Yeah, and I had to go alone. And so many people were like, "Oh, is your fiance going with you? Like, are you traveling with friends?" And I was like, "I'm going alone. Like, I need to be
You
alone."
had a specific purpose for
Yeah.
going. This wasn't a sightseeing
No. Yeah.
kind of vacation.
Right.
This
Yeah.
was a soul searching
Yeah.
and soul mending vacation.
Yeah.
You had work to do.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So having other people there would have just been a distraction from the work that
Exactly.
you really needed to do, which is why you were leaving in the first place.
Yeah.
It wasn't about Portugal.
Yep.
It was about
Yeah.
getting away from everyone and everything that was distracting you from doing the healing that you needed to do.
Yeah.
to isolate a
Yeah.
bit,
Absolutely.
right? In a
Yeah.
healthy sort of way.
Yeah.
In a perhaps a place or an environment that would support that for you.
Yeah. Yes. And I knew it's kind of crazy how I ended on Portugal because I knew I wanted to be able to surf because I love to surf. That clears my mind. I knew I needed to be like in sunshine and somewhere completely new. And like God kept providing little hints of Portugal and it was so crazy. Like
I love that.
every other day there'd be something about Portugal pop up and I was like,
Oh, my
I guess
goodness.
I'm going there. Like
Signs
God was like, here you go. So that's how it kind of started. And
I
then
love that.
and then yeah, it was exactly a soul nurturing, soul mending trip. And that's why I didn't stay in hostels. I didn't travel different cities. I was in 2 cities the entire month and I like found a little home and I was able to cry and sleep, like just sleep with no alarm and go to the beach every day, cry at the beach. You know, I just really had time to
No
be in my
schedule, no
Yes.
expectations, no
Yes.
appointments, no reservations, just
Nothing.
whatever you need in this moment and
Yep.
being in a place where you can listen to what that is. I mean, sometimes we're so busy we don't even know we need to eat.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't know that we're thirsty and need to get some water because we're so wrapped up and so distracted.
On time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. Like you had the innate understanding that you needed to carve all of that away. And, we talk about appointments and we talk about expectations and schedules and requirements and responsibilities. And you gave yourself the space to literally carve away time.
Yeah.
Right? You had a bookend from the beginning to the end. And that was your period, like that bound you.
Sure.
But in between, like you said, you ate when you were hungry. You slept as much and when and as you needed to.
Yep.
Right? There were not expectations of I need to be in this place at this time or somebody else is, waiting on me or all of those things. And you truly went completely inside of you. That's enormous. Like I would I can't even say it out loud. The thought of that.
It scares you.
It scares me.
Yeah.
It scares me. Because I don't know that I could carve out the space for it, because I could. Like, I could do that. But, man, you get in, maybe not even like the first week. Maybe well into week 2. Like, you're in a place that I don't know that I have truly ever been in my lifetime. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that is in my imagination, because I have not done that. That's a place that my essence maybe has never been inside of myself.
Or your consciousness has not been where your essence is. Your essence is there. Your consciousness is not.
Perhaps, yes.
I could see how that would be scary.
That would rattle me to the core, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did you experience that at any point where, like, it was like, holy shit, I didn't know that this was here inside of me?
Yeah. There were times where I couldn't stop crying, and I cry. That's just how I release every emotion.
Sister,
Yeah.
So
part of the reason I love you.
Yeah, like I cry all the time. But there was uncontrollable, like heavy crying.
Sobbing, grief.
Yes, and I was giving my spirit and my physical body the space to grieve, and for the whole however many months prior to losing my mother, I had to shove it down, or like I was masking it, or doing tasks like working staying busy, and I wasn't giving myself the freedom to feel grief. And I always thought it was a burden, like whenever, and my fiance did not feel that way whatsoever, but I felt that way. So I'd get home and I would just sob, and he's holding me, but like I felt like a burden to him.
Right.
Like I'm an inconvenience to your life because I'm
like
upset.
What you needed at the end of a hard day was me falling apart.
Yeah.
Right.
So just getting to a space where I'm all alone, where I'm able to just feel any and every emotion that was popping up. And it is scary because in our everyday lives, I don't allow myself to feel deeply as I did on that trip.
So
Wow.
What I hear in summary, and you can correct me if I'm misunderstanding this, but what I heard you say was, I did grieve before, and it felt like I was judging my own grieving.
Yeah.
Before I left. And now in this space without time or other people around, I didn't judge myself for grieving, and I felt it completely.
Yeah.
After having that experience, do you feel more whole? Do you feel that that experience helped you to heal?
1000%. I would not be where I am today without going on that trip.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever talked about this, but financially at the time, that trip was not the best decision for me. I had a lot of other things going on and other things I needed to put my finances towards, and I almost wasn't going to go. I was like, I don't know if I can afford this trip, but I decided to do it anyway. And then after returning home, I had some more financial stress, and I would openly spoke, and I was like, I don't know if I should have done that. And my partner, he looked at me and he said, that trip saved your life. Like, he's like, don't ever bring up finances.
Amount.
He's like, don't bring that up. Don't stress out about it. He's like, everything's going to work out, because he's like, that trip saved your life. And it did.
Wow.
And I think months later, because I went April, May, and it's now November, and I'm like still processing things that I went through in Portugal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
So it's like, it's so crazy. Like, and I'm much more
a month
whole
sounds
now.
like a long time, but
Yeah.
when you're in the middle of doing that hard work, that is a blink.
Yeah.
That
It
flies
was a
by
blur.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all a blur. And so even as time goes on, I'm like, wow, I really did need that time to myself.
I'm not surprised you're still almost like rediscovering some things that you discovered, and now you're in a different place where you can process some of that.
Well, that has a lot to do with that concept of what we talk about often is that spiral, right? Perhaps when you were in Portugal, you saw what you needed to at that time from that perspective to heal at that level.
Yeah.
And then as the spiral turns, then it gets a little bit deeper and you're looking at it from a different perspective, and it's a whole different aspect perhaps of healing, right? And then you can work on that, and then you twist again and you're looking at it from a fully different view and a different level, right? And
oftentimes much deeper.
yes,
Yeah.
and then you
thought
have to
I
work
figured
at
that
it
out,
again.
but apparently not, because I'm
Right.
looking
Yeah.
at it again.
But you did figure it out at that level from that perspective, right? So that, like, it's, I mean, peeling the onion is a good philosophy, I suppose, but like really that spiral, every turn, every degree changes the whole experience. And that's kind of what I am hearing you say is that even now, right? Maybe something you touched then on, you're still working on pieces.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. I suspect that you will carry that trip with you for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah, 100%. There's memories I have, and it's so crazy because where I was staying was a huge tourist town, like huge. It's one of the top surfing spots of the world.
Oh.
And so there was like famous surfers there. It was a huge tourist town. And I actually didn't know that at the time of like
When you
booking
booked
my
it?
spot, which is funny. But like,
Right, because you wanted silence and
Yes,
solitude, and
yeah.
you booked it the most crazy place you could. Okay.
And like going
That's
out
funny.
and, you know, even if I'm going for walks and you bump into people, or like people that were staying at the same guest house who are like, oh, like, did you surf today? Or like, what are you doing today? And I learned to have like, I used to feel like at first I was like guilty, like, no, I didn't surf today. You know, like I felt guilty about not going out and like exploring
wasted
or
the
like
day.
doing an excursion. And then eventually, like after the first week, I was like, I don't owe any of these people an explanation for why I'm here. And I also like don't need to feel guilty about not doing anything. Like if I'm going to sit on my balcony and just look at the ocean and cry for the next 7 hours, that's what I'm going to do. And I started to like shift the way I talk to people, and like if they asked me if I went out or whatever, and I just said no, and they were like, oh, okay, and like moved on. And I was like, oh, there was no hurt in that. So I also feel like on this trip I learned boundaries in a weird way. It's like, oh, I feel like I owe these strangers an explanation, but I don't.
Because you were judging it, not because they were, right?
Yeah.
Because when you changed your response, they were okay with
Yeah,
it.
they
It's not like really, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, lots of things came out of that trip.
One thing that I find very interesting is so you went somewhere to have quiet and solitude and peace. You had a list of some things that you needed on that trip, right? And the universe kept pointing you, God kept pointing you to Portugal, this place in particular that is one of the biggest tourist places you could find, which is the exact opposite of what you
Yeah.
needed. So this is where free will comes in, right? So
I see where you're
God,
going,
the universe
sister.
is giving you this opportunity to do what you need to do. But if you're not really ready, then you can choose to be around all these people
Yeah.
if that's what you
Yeah.
want to do instead.
Right.
Either way,
Yeah.
you're fine. You're okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't want to say a test because I feel like that's not fair.
Well, you get an A either way.
Right.
Right.
Not that kind of
Right,
test, but
right.
almost like, are you really ready?
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
here are the conditions you need if you're really ready. And if you're not really ready, here are conditions that so you'll still be okay. Not just like, I picked this place that there's so much solitude and silence that now I can't do the work I needed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Like you have the
I thought
choice
this is
still.
what I
Yeah.
needed, but
Yeah.
I was way wrong. I'm not ready. But now you're stuck there and forced to do the work almost, as opposed to this being your choice.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you
I
know,
love that.
it was set up in a way that you could
Yeah.
or not. Your free will comes into play.
Yeah.
And it, almost like, are you really serious about what you say you want and need?
Yeah.
Not even want, what you need.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, and I'm going to sidetrack us just for a hot second because it reminds me of an experience that I had, completely separate, completely different, but the same type of thing that Tammy you're talking about. I had a vision, a dream. I don't necessarily know what you'd call it, but I was in this dream or vision. I had access to, I'm not going to say the word right. I know I'm not. I just don't remember the right way to say it, but it's called archaic records.
Akashic,
Akashic.
I
Thank you.
think. Is that how you say it?
So essentially, what these records are is everything about your soul. Like this lifetime, the last lifetime, what things you bring in from previous lifetime, what you're supposed to learn. And in this vision, I'm the keeper of the records, perhaps.
St. Michael?
I didn't.
Whoever does it?
I didn't see like there was no person, but it
Right.
was something talking to me.
Sure.
And said, "Do you want to know about this? Like it's open to you. You tell me. Would you like to
Yeah.
know?" And in that vision, that dream, I was like, "No," because I got too scared. Okay, and it was like a big Rolodex. Okay, we're not going to
About
learn.
this.
We're not going to know about that. Do you want to know about this? And I went, no. What about this? No, like I'm not. I wasn't prepared for it. I
No.
was like, holy shit, this is.
That's a profound vision.
It
Yeah,
was
it
a
is.
very profound vision. At the end of that, like they did this a number of different times and of different topics about my life. And most of them I said, no, I can't. I'm afraid. I think that there was one thing that I was like, okay, so you asked me like 6 or 7 of these already. I should probably dip my toe in. But like, man, and it was okay, right? It wasn't like, ooh, shame on you. You
Right.
probably should have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I hear you saying
Yeah.
is, you know what? You have full choice here.
Right.
And God
Yeah.
created that avenue for you too. Like, how far in do you want to dip your toe?
Yeah. Yeah, that whole trip was so divinely orchestrated, and
Oh, I love that.
I didn't, and that's so interesting you bring that up, because at the time I didn't understand that or even know, but I did have the choice to, go out every night, or, go meet new people, or go surf every day. I only surfed a couple times, and I, went and got massages when I wanted to, or I, just went to the beach by myself, but I was
But
taught
you could
how
have
to
filled
make
your time with
Yes.
everyone else, though.
Yes, there was so many opportunities to have filled my time with things that, everyone else was doing, but choosing not to. And yeah, it also, looking back now, it helped me be able to make decisions for myself. And that was the first time. I would say, the honest to God, the first time in my entire life I made decisions for myself.
Which is so empowering. But again, if you were in a place where you had truly, like, just solitude, that's not so much a choice,
It's, you're
right?
just
Right.
kind of forced.
This
like,
is this
okay.
is what you're doing because no one else is around, as opposed to it being well, I could have dinner by myself tonight, or
Yeah.
I could go to the beach restaurant with all of these people who are staying in the same place I am. I'm going to choose to have dinner by myself.
This
tonight.
is so wild because I was actually one night in Portugal. I was walking to dinner to a seafood restaurant by myself, and I ran into two people I met doing yoga with the day before, and they asked me to go to dinner with them. They wanted seafood, but they're like, we're going to go to a different place. And I said no, and I went and had dinner by myself, and it was amazing. But like, that's a perfect example of like, God continuously was bringing me the opportunity if I wanted to, to go experience with other people, but I knew that
what you needed to do for yourself. That was the whole
to be
point
alone.
of this trip.
Yeah. The core of you.
Yeah.
And making decisions that are best for you without taking into account what other people want, what their expectations are, whether you'll disappoint them, whether they'll judge you, right? I am going to do what's best for me. Hard stop.
Or whether you are judging yourself for what you should be doing, regardless of them, right? They could have been very happy to say, enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
But inside of you, oh, I feel bad. I just met these people. I really like them. You know, I haven't done it yet. Like all of that stuff. That most of it, you put on yourself. Like even before it gets out.
I heard a lot of shoulds.
Yes.
In that.
Right. I'm a good
You're a good shooter.
Shoot all over the place. Quit shooting all over yourself.
Yeah.
Quit shooting all over yourself. I love that.
Right.
Can that be the title of the
Yes.
episode?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the title.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. No more shoulds. We're only doing things we want to do
So,
and like to do.
So thank you for that segue because that's the direction I was going next. When we were chatting and catching up earlier, that was one of the really monumental things that you said that you walked away with.
Yeah.
Like as an action, you had done enormous work, right? In response to the trauma that you had faced in the last year and more than that, frankly.
Yeah.
Just knowing your personal experience up until that point. But then to be in a situation where these are some proactive things that I'm taking out of this. One of them was, I'm going to do the things that I want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
I'm saying no to the things that I should do. And I'm only doing because I should.
Yeah. I'm no longer doing things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's huge.
Huge, yeah.
It doesn't sound as huge as it is.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds very just surface.
Yeah.
Like selfish, surface.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I only do the things that I want to do. But to say it and to do it are two drastically different things, like from the core of yourself.
Yeah. And I think also people are obviously in various stages of their lives, but I'm currently in a stage of my life where I gave up so much of myself to other people, and with, the things that I went through, it was like, caretaking. And I'm so young. That's the thing. It was like I was a caretaker for someone, and I'm only 26 now. Right. I just turned 26. So it's like at such a young age, I like lost a part of my 20s because I was looking after someone, and like I wasn't able to make decisions just for me. Yeah. If that makes sense. And then
it does entirely.
And then coming to a space where I'm like, okay, well, now that person is no longer with us, and now you can make decisions for yourself. That isn't affecting anyone else.
Do?
Like,
right.
I don't have kids. It's just me. So it's like, these decisions are just for myself. And everyone's situation is different. So for me right now, I can say that.
So I need to step back. And I hope that I did not create the situation where you felt like I was judging you by the word selfish, because selfish it's perceived as a negative word, right, in our society, but it is fucking not.
It's like the word boundaries. People feel like oftentimes that is interpreted as a negative. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, you have a boundary. Like that's a negative, selfish thing, right? But it isn't. It is completely necessary. Yeah. Boundaries are necessary. Being selfish in that way to establish boundaries
Yes.
is necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not
so
selfish.
please know that
no.
I was not trying to minimize in any way, because I have the utmost respect and I'm just thrilled for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was explaining it as like, because I've wrestled with the selfishness. So not anything on you.
No,
I was like, what came into my head
It's
is
a
like,
real thing.
because I've wrestled with, I'm so selfish, I'm making decisions for me. And that was like, it was right after like right after the trip, honestly, I was like in the season of, I'm no longer doing things that I don't want to do, but it's like, I feel like it is a battle. Because it's like, oh, well, like my decisions aren't affecting anyone anymore when they were. Like I couldn't, or whatever. Like if I wanted to go out one night, I had to like think about my mother. Like, is there going to be someone else to watch her or whatever?
Take care of her,
You know,
help her
take
with
care
what
of
she
her.
needs. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, if I want to go out, I can, because it's not affecting anyone else anymore.
But
And
so now
that's
you
huge.
get to think about what you need or
Yeah.
want first.
Yeah.
And then you're engaged, right? So you could think, oh, I really want to buy a couch. Well, maybe I should check with my partner to see if that is, something
Okay,
okay with him too. Right. So, it's not,
Yeah.
if you, I think what I'm getting at is you're not being selfless, which is maybe what you were before. So that feels very selfish.
Yeah. That's the perfect
Rather
way to
than
explain
being
it.
like, I'm just going to do whatever I want and to hell with everybody else.
Right.
That,
Flip it.
yes.
Yeah.
You're not being selfless anymore.
Yeah. You explained that so much better than I did.
That's also what I was trying to
Yeah,
get at.
I was like, I can't explain what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It takes a team.
Yeah. We got there.
We got there. That's all that matters. Yeah. But I can see how
Yeah.
that would feel very selfish when you are used to being selfless.
Right.
Yeah.
And selfless is not a good place to be. It's really a very toxic behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you eliminated the selflessness and started thinking about, what do I need? What do I want?
Worth.
How
Yeah.
many times I actually think it was, remember when we had Heather on season 1, I think it
Yep,
was.
it was.
And she was talking about
Heather.
hi Heather.
Hi, Heather.
You'd like Heather.
Yeah.
You would like Heather. She was talking about how sometimes her spouse has to force her to think about what she wants for dinner because it's so hard for her to not be selfless.
Yes.
That it is, well, I don't know, what do you want? No, that wasn't the question.
No,
What
yeah.
do you want?
I don't
well,
have
we
an
just
opinion,
had this last
right.
week. I'm not asking you what do you want for dinner? If it's what we had last week, then that's what you want for dinner. What do you want? And to be in a place where you can not have to force yourself to get to, what do I want? That is such a huge gift.
Yeah.
Where someone could say, what do you want for dinner? Oh, I'd like soup, thanks.
Yeah. That. And not sweat
huge.
about it.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
ask yourself
Negotiate
20
it,
questions.
or-
Or
right.
qualify it. Or judge it.
Or have to
Really?
think about it
Yes.
for 20 minutes. Right.
Yeah. I like that. No judgment. It's
For
like now.
yourself.
Yes. Now I
yeah.
can make decisions without any judgment on like myself.
Right.
And that's I've never been in that place. I'm in a new season of
sounds
life,
so
everyone.
freeing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But you're embracing it rather than finding someone else to fill that spot where now you're taking care of someone else, which is what most of us do.
Yeah.
I know how to be selfless. Who can help me be selfless?
Right. Who can I help?
Yes. Exactly. It is really easy to just find somebody else to fill that hole.
Yeah.
So you can continue doing the things that you've always done.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like how that makes you feel in that
Yeah.
role.
Well, okay, so that, right? So there's conditioning that and you had a very extreme experience, right, with your mother who physically needed
Yeah.
your caretaking during that period of her life. But there's also conditioning way before that, like in
Oh,
most
yeah.
people's situations, like don't be selfish, that's rude, share your toys, right? Well, this is my brand new, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
all of those things, like through even childhood and please know that I have done all of these things with my children.
Share your
right?
toys. I don't care if you haven't played with your new toy yet. Share
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
And that's all conditioning. Like, stop being selfish. Like, you got a whole candy bar and you need to share that now, right? Like, and again, we're kind of probably tipping on the flip it side of things, but it is a conditioning thing, right? I am supposed to be helpful.
Yeah.
I am supposed to...
To my expense.
Yes.
Not just helpful, but helpful at my expense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I need to be available at every moment of every day to fill other people's needs.
Yes.
And
And then you're
And then
completely
it's-
selfless. I
yeah.
don't have any needs. And then the people around you, when one day you have a need, what the hell's wrong with Mary?
yeah.
Right.
Why is she acting like
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Or
how
you're
dare you?
completely
Yeah.
burned and spent. Like, you know what? I
Yeah.
have nothing for you.
Yeah.
Actually, because I never had anything for me this whole time to fill me. So now I have nothing for you either.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think motherhood, like, as a mother of an infant and a toddler and a small child, like, that also reinforces that, because similar in your experience, right? There is a period of time where that other human relies on you wholly.
Yes. Right.
Entirely.
For sure.
And there's no way around that, right?
No.
That is
That's just the way it is.
the way it is.
Yeah.
And you lose yourself in those phases.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you get to, my kids are grown and I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I like to eat for dinner. I do know it's not chicken nuggets and hot dogs, because that's what my kids wanted every night of the week, right? But I don't know what I actually like. This is why it is so hard when you have an empty nest like that, because you're floundering. I literally don't even know what I want to eat for dinner, because it's never been up to me for the last 20 years. So
Yeah.
who am I? What am I going to do with myself? What am I going to feed myself for dinner? And I think that when you leave that sort of phase of life where someone is relying on you totally, completely, and wholly for their very existence, so you give
No matter
all of
what it
yourself,
looks like,
exactly,
right? It could
whether
be
it is
children or it could be
right,
caretaking.
a failing parent, right, ailing parent. When you no longer have that, and you're left with yourself, and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? That's really hard. And so you, Mary, in your 26 years of wisdom, went, what I need is some time and some space to figure this out. And this is what that needs to look like for me. I mean, you knew enough about yourself to know, this is where I recharge. I need a beach. I need some sun. I need some waves. And not all of it all at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's the environment I need to create. That I cannot tell you how insightful that was. That is so huge, because again, when women, oftentimes their kids, grow up and leave home, and they're left at home wondering, now what?
Right.
Yeah.
I've been everything to everyone all of the time.
Yeah.
Now what do I do?
Yeah.
The midlife crisis sets in.
Yeah. And my goal and dream for my business and for my yoga career and retreat career is to have a space for women to come where they can take off every mask that they put on. So their mother mask, their wife mask,
All the hats.
all the hats, everything comes off, and they just get to be with themselves, and they get to spend time in nature, and they get to spend an hour moving their body. Like, that's so special to me, is like wanting to create a space for women to find their own identity. And it might be just for like a short amount of time, whether it's just in an hour of yoga or like 3 hours at a retreat, but like, you have those 3 hours to only be here for you. And I want to help inspire women to find their identity, because my fear is when I, if I decide to have children and then like years later, I am an empty nester, that I still know who I am and I still can do the things that I love, because that's my biggest fear is, like I watched my mother, and I love her so much, and she did everything she could for us, but she didn't have her own identity.
Again, selfless.
And I
watched that.
I watched that, and I
That
don't
didn't
want
look
that.
like a good idea
And
for you.
you know, and you have to actively make choices too, because I think in our culture today we're so good at looking at what's wrong with right, or we're good at identifying what we need to change, but not actually doing the action to change.
Agree.
Very much.
That is.
We struggle with that
I should.
on our
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
a lot. So that's a great topic. We've just identified all the things that are wrong or broken with X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Now
What
what?
are we gonna do?
We
Yeah.
can't just put that
Right.
big pile
Yeah.
of poop
Right.
out there and
Right.
then,
Yeah.
that's the end of this podcast.
Have a
Now
good
what?
day.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Good luck with that.
Good luck out there.
Yeah.
Let us know how it goes.
Right. We don't have any answers. We're experts in nothing, but we would like to have some ideas of things that you could do. Here's the pile of poo that you're sitting in. Here's some things you could do
Yeah.
without being an expert to
Yeah.
tell people
Oh my
what to
gosh.
do at all.
Or even do these things ourselves.
Or that.
These topics we bring up, and why I am so enamored by your experience through this. As I said earlier, I don't know that I might be too afraid to do that.
Yeah.
So
It's scary.
I just have adoration for
Absolutely.
for the true work that you have done to create the space, give yourself permission, and to do the work.
You easily could have gone to the beach and just scrolled through, social media all
Right.
day.
Yeah.
Right.
You could have,
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many could haves, but
Right.
I'm glad
but you didn't.
it all.
You were serious
Yeah.
about, I need this time for me, and I'm taking it.
Yeah, and taking the action, it's terrifying. It's so scary because there were so many unknowns at the time. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay engaged or,
Yeah.
I didn't know where I wanted to live. My finances were a mess. So I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I knew deep down I needed to go. So I guess that's just encouragement. Is if you have a feeling or you have something tugging at you, you should just pursue it, which sounds so simple because it's not that simple.
It's not.
But,
It isn't.
Right.
but
Keep going till you get a no.
Yeah. That. And since then, and we don't have to go into details at all, but since then, things have been much more clear for you.
oh,
Right?
yeah, 1,000%.
Your life has literally changed.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of your return and,
Yeah.
through the summer to now.
Yeah, it has changed. It's so funny looking back. It's whoa, I was in such a bad spot and I had nothing figured out. Not that we have to have it figured out because I still don't have it figured out, but I have goals and I know who I am and what I want and what I don't want. And that's a huge deal.
That's huge.
And I'm actively working towards my goals, and I don't know, it's so different. And I'm a completely different person before I left for Portugal. And you both saw me and knew me.
Yeah.
Pre-Portugal.
Right. And I loved you then, too. Yeah.
I loved you then.
Absolutely. And I love you now.
And I'm really, really excited to watch you continue to
Absolutely.
do this work because, like I said, it's a spiral, right? So this isn't going to be the once and done, but shit, you've made a serious spiral turn on it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're
good.
you're
Yeah.
These are
You're
giant
going
leaps.
deep.
They're not tiny baby steps.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And it will serve you for the rest of your life. It will.
That's why I mean it when I say I'm excited to see you as a 50-year-old woman. Really.
Yeah.
I hope that we stay connected,
Oh, we
even
will.
if I will be in the nursing home
Yeah.
or wherever I am. But I truly hope that we stay connected because your spirit is just,
You're big.
you are big.
They're too sweet. You guys are gonna be doing this podcast when you're in the nursing home. Let's be real.
love that.
Let's be real.
Perhaps.
And I'm still gonna
love
be a guest on the podcast.
Tammy, I think you have broccoli in your teeth. Did you have broccoli for lunch? Nobody can see me on the podcast.
Have you you seen those videos of those two really elderly women?
The
who are like
sisters?
either their sisters or their best friends, and they just bicker
They're
at one another.
sisters. Yeah,
I could see that.
I could see that
I could
too.
see that.
Don't laugh. Don't call me. Why are you calling me?
Yes.
She just called me just to laugh. Did you hear that? Yeah.
Turn left. Don't turn left. You don't know where you're going.
What did she say about me?
Yeah.
Don't listen to her.
They're sisters.
Yeah. I can see that. Okay, well, that
would
was
be
a
fun.
big sidetrack.
It was. And Mary will be the Sheila in all of that.
She will.
You'll be driving us around.
Yes, please. Please. Another one of my dreams.
Oh, boy.
So before we wrap up, you had talked a little bit about some of your goals and your yoga goals and plans and retreats. Tell us a little bit more about this, because you're right on the cusp, and I'd really like to continue to follow that with you.
Yes. So I'm officially going out on my own, and I'll have my own yoga business. And I know
that is so exciting.
I can't believe it.
Do you have a name for
I
your
was just
business?
gonna
Are you
ask.
ready to share that, or is that not
Yes.
quite?
So it's called Divine Yoga.
Oh.
And I know it's so hard to talk about because I just have like so many emotions right now, but I would not be where I am today without my relationship with God, and so I wanted to honor God in my business, and so I thought Divine Yoga was the perfect name.
I love that. I love it.
And so my goals, I'll be having mostly retreats, because that's where I feel like my heart lies right now. And I love to travel, so I'll be incorporating retreats abroad, retreats locally. Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
so crazy. And
I
then
love that too.
hopefully having my own space where I live now.
Yay.
That's in the works.
All right.
So it's crazy.
So is your
Stay
website
tuned.
available currently?
Yes.
Are you working on it?
Or is it
up?
under construction?
There's just one link that doesn't work. Other than that,
Let me hear
everything
it.
works.
Let me hear it, girl.
Oh my gosh. Let me pull it up. Okay, so. Okay. Wait, are we still okay?
Yeah, we're good.
So right now, because I own it, but I haven't like purchased my own domain. It's just divineyoga.mydurable.com. Bloop. And then this is my website.
Beautiful.
Oh, that is really beautiful.
That's me in Portugal.
Oh,
my gosh.
Yes.
Did you take your own pictures?
I did, yeah.
So you set your camera up,
Yeah.
put it on a timer, got yourself in that position on that rock in front of the sunset.
Yeah, well, okay, so I have a little...
Holy shit.
I have a little...
Wow.
It's not...
Do you know what that would look like for me?
Well, did you see the picture I took at lunch? Yeah.
I did.
This
Yeah,
was all
that's
God.
fair.
This was not me. Yeah, and then, okay, so then we click on retreats, and then this is my winter retreat I have. This is the only link that doesn't work, but... Yeah, just all the goodies are in here. And
Can you forward that to me? Because I'd very
Absolutely.
much like to attach it to the
Yes.
podcast
Yeah, for
information.
sure.
So
Oh my
that
gosh,
folks
yes.
can see this.
Oh, and here's my little meet the team. That's me.
Team. I love it.
Meet Mary.
Meet Mary. Oh, and Paige is on here too. So this is who I'm traveling to France with next week.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
She's going to
Paris.
Yes.
I'm
off on
so
another
jelly.
adventure.
You're gonna, yeah.
I just
I'm
want to.
really happy for you.
I
I
just
am
want to eat
too.
the whole time I'm in Paris. Just eat
And you
all
should.
day, every day.
And you
Yeah.
should. You totally should.
I love it.
I don't care about doing anything else. I just want to eat.
I love it.
And you'll walk to all the places you have to eat, so it balances out.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Get my exercise while eating a bunch of carbs.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
all right.
Yes. They eat loads of carbs there and they
Yeah.
stay looking fantastic. So you don't need to worry.
You wouldn't have to anyway.
No,
but
you wouldn't. No. True enough.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
coming back
Thank you,
and spending
guys.
some time and
Sharing.
sharing that really deep part of yourself.
Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
having me. This is so special.
It is.
I agree.
All right.
that's a wrap.
That's the end of this episode. Right. So thanks to Mind Garden Media, Todd, for always putting our podcast together. He does all the work behind the scenes. He described it to us a little bit when he was on our podcast during that planning session.
he did.
Like, he has to listen to it twice.
Can you imagine?
I know. No, this is not like a 10-minute service that
No,
he's doing
it's not.
for us.
Like,
So
you don't click a button, walk away type of thing.
No. So he does a lot of hard work for us, and we are unbelievably appreciative.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Todd. If you are interested in doing a podcast, please reach out to Mind Garden Media. Todd is fantastic to work with. He can point you in the right direction. He can
Give you expert advice.
absolutely, yep, and help
Kick you in
out
the ass
too.
if you need to.
Sometimes you do.
It's true.
do that, yeah.
He has, yes.
He has.
He has
actually.
definitely done that.
He has. Yeah, but he's pretty special. So
He is.
contact him. And we're also especially thankful to all of our listeners.
We certainly are.
This wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have people to listen to it.
That's right.
So
So we
thank
appreciate you.
Thanks for following along. Thanks for sharing and commenting and catching up and giving us ideas and just
And appreciating us.
yes,
too.
absolutely.
We-
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
Till next time, then.
Bye.
Bye.